All right, going live. I am live. All right, guys. We now live, and I hope this goes real good. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I'm testing. All right, going live. All right. All right, we are live. So, the point of the video today and going live is because why not? I thought I could do it on Spreaker, the podcaster. Turns out can't. So, as many of you guys know, I am Heath Ryan Doy. Welcome to Veteran Talk. And I'm doing an episode a week before the next episode, or at least 5 days, maybe 4 days. Next episode, we'll have Lieutenant Commander Wooji on. He is a former surface warfare officer and did a little bit of dabbling in NASCAR while he was at the academy. They were able to go and do a race. So I'll have him on. But today I want to breach a subject, and yeah, it's not one of those I'm looking forward to. And it is emotional turmoil. Now, again, my time in the Navy was very turmoil and very dramatic. I mean, I was the equivalent of a Navy MP. Protecting ships in the harbor. So I'd be like NYPD Harbor at my first duty station. The amount of turmoil that you go through in the military is amazing. Everyone will call it a roller coaster. You go up, you go down. It can be every minute, every hour, every day. It doesn't matter what it is. So, you learn coping mechanisms. Mine was drinking. If I could drink, I could cope. It's the fucking truth of the matter. I don't really tell many people my story about being in the Navy because it was short, and to some people it was sweet. Got out on my own terms. Didn't have to do the rest of the time. Doesn't mean that they're going to exclude me from ever being recalled. Doesn't mean they'll exclude anyone who's ever been kicked out of the military to not be under recall. It just means I didn't have to do the additional 4 in IRR. To some that's great. To others that's bad. Look, you can blame me and, think I'm just the biggest shitbag. I would not blame you. Back in the day, I was the biggest shitbag. I was a heavy drinker, womanizer. Honestly, I didn't get my act together until 2015 when I stopped drinking. My emotions were all over the place. It was, it was sad. It was sad that a grown man, a 23-year-old, couldn't get his shit together. Um, getting married, having a son, um, uh, taking on what I could with my goddaughter, um, being abusive physically and mentally to my ex-wife. And, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that I'd rather get drunk back at that time than actually be a decent fucking husband, father, and human being. Um, none of this is new. I mean, to some people, I'm sure it'll be new. But let's just go through the phases here. Hold on. All right, so let's go with the phases. So phase number one, you're at the recruiting station. You're hyped up. You're ready. Yeah, sure, you're a little unsure, but you want to do it. You want to go. You want to get it. At the time, it was 2006, so we were getting ready for the surge. I was like, yes, yes, come on, give me, give me, give me, give me. Originally, I had talked to a National Guard recruiter and talked to my grandparents. Grandfather was all right. Grandmother didn't want me to do National Guard, so then I told the National Guard recruiter, I apologize, I'm going with my family. I go to the Navy. I get signed up, I get all my legal stuff, my medical records get sent over to them. They pour through it like they know how to. I take my urinalysis. I even do my pre workout, my pre PFT, pre PRT for recruiting. Slow, but I can work on it in basic training. Fine, cool. I want to get out. I don't want to be in Colorado at the time or anymore. Um, so I do the 3 month waiting period. I'm supposed to be in depth, but they didn't put me through it. It was just all right. Come in when you can, when you want to. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, whatever. It's cool. It's nice. I'm loving it. Um, and I don't think anything of it. Uh, the roller coaster for recruiting and depth, it was easy. Just wait, be nervous, bide my time. Do. Oh, I want to get this hammered out. I want to go. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this crap. I don't want to, stay in school and do the school option. I knew what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was go into the military. I was going to go in the Navy. So they told me that MA school was closed. I would have to wait like 3 more months. I told them what they have for me to get out of here immediately. I mean, right the hell now. They told me they had a program. It was awesome. If I get 3 chances in basic to get my for the Navy, it's Naval Education Code. That would be considered our MOS. All this good stuff. But if those 3 chances are up and all the jobs you want are closed, guess what? You have to go to a ship for I was told 2.5 years. When I got to boot camp, they told me I'd have to go to a ship for a year and a half, at minimum year, if I could get into a shop and if a school was going to be open. I told my recruiter, I'm like, Q1, I got this. Don't worry, I'll go. Now I'm just fucking nervous. I gotta tell my mom bye. I gotta tell my brother bye. I gotta tell my dad, don't worry about it. I'll be coming home a U.S. Navy sailor. You don't have to worry about it. My fiance at the time, Andrea, I told her, don't worry about it. I'll be back home. You'll see. It's just, it'll be awesome. It's like, yes, I get to go here. I get to do it for 8 weeks, 2 fucking months. Easy. Uh, the before I go, you go get posted up in that hotel room. I have believe a roommate who was going to the army. And we all fucking party. I mean, we didn't really stay in our rooms. We all party. We didn't get intoxicated. My family was there, so I invited, as many people that could come see my family. Their families either weren't there or it was a big mixer to us. We were going away. We were going to basic. We were going to become what we wanted to become. We were excited. We were hyped. We were ready to go. I can't remember the last time other than working on the ramp. Oh, sorry. By the way, disclaimer: these opinions are mine and mine only, not the company I work for. So I forgot to add that in the beginning. I apologize. I'm saying it now. I'll say it at the end. And I may add something before that for it. And I'm not too sure. But yeah. Hold on, I'm checking my. All right. But yeah, I was ready to go. I was pumped. I was like, yeah, you can't hold me back. You can't do this. You can't do that. I'm a, I'm a man. I'm gonna do this. If I want to do this, I'm going to do this, and I did it. And Lord, 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 Lord. Around week 5, I had a breakdown. I just, I was getting letters. I was getting everything. Everyone loved me. I knew that they loved me. It was just, to me, it was new-ish. It was new-ish in that, I was away from my family. I was away from my fiance at the time, my ex, and I couldn't see the goal. I mean, I'd already been here for a month. I was starting the second month. In 3 more weeks, I was going to graduate. But I still didn't feel confident in myself. I was a mess. I would cry. I would, apologize profusely to everybody. The person that I am nowadays, this person who is, sorry and, all that, that came out of basic training. I would say, not so much unselfish, because I was selfish in basic in the military. I mean, I was. A lot of us were. We wanted to, be proud of ourselves. We wanted to project. We wanted to do all this. We wanted to be useful in society, what we thought was useful. I mean, I knew guys that were, graduated college and decided they wanted a new challenge in life. I'm like, yeah, why not? The military, I guess, is a good way to do it. I don't know why, if you got a college education. I was ignorant as most of the population, which was, if you didn't want to go to college, join the military. And now looking back at it, horrible. That was a horrible thing to think. Because I shouldn't have. I really should not have thought that. You know, the best people I've met, my brothers, sisters, we use the buddy system in the Navy. Hold on, let me. But I mean, we all met each other. We all know each other. And as much of a fucking douchebag and shitbag as I was, pretty sure a lot of people remember me fondly as that fucking doofus in basic, that doofus in MA school, that doofus in the fleet. And I have no problem with it. I've got no problem with it. Shoot, back then I was a doofus. I was the biggest doofus, the biggest dipshit, the biggest idiot, the biggest shitbag back then. And for people, people are going to be like, oh, well, that's not something to be proud of. Well, I mean, is it not, though? Is it not? Is it not? Then you know that you were. Do you have to be happy about it? No. Can you regret it? Always. I always find that difficult when I talk to people, and they always ask me, well, do you regret it? Of course I regret it. I would have had a fine career in the U.S. Navy if I had just bucked up, done what I was supposed to. I mean, if I had just held on another 1 year and 5 months, I would have been discharged after 4 years in the Navy instead of 2 years and 7 months. But the emotional roller coaster and toll it takes on you when you're in the military is something that is amazing. It is like a bipolar lifestyle that you never even knew existed. You would be up 1 minute, down the other minute, up again another minute. I mean, it was nerve-wracking, scary. You could be a coward, or have courage. It didn't matter. So, I mean, with all that and with what you're used to, and you get out of the military, it doesn't matter if you got kicked out at whatever year, or you did your 4 years and you got your honorable discharge certificate. It does not matter. All that matters is that you did what you thought you could do. There is no shame in that. Like I tell people, there is no shame in thinking that you were overwhelmed, because you are overwhelmed. I still have people who I talk to that tell me, I mean, they don't tell me in certain words. It's easy. They're frustrated. They're fucking pissed. They're everything. Right now we are in a dramatic change in the military. And a lot of my buddies from back in the day are now leaders. And, I believe that they are purporting themselves better than we were led. I don't blame the leaders of me for what I did. I blame myself, because I could have been better for the leadership. I could have been better for a lot of my leadership, but I didn't. I fell short. So that is on me. But yeah, some leaders should and know better. They should just absolutely just believe that they can do better. So getting out of the military, I bring my ex-wife out here. I'd already broken up with my ex-fiance. Bring my ex-wife out here. We get married. We all thought it was wonderful. I was happy. I was elated. I was back in that zone where I wanted to be. I started working. We had help from my parents for the first year. The second year, we moved out into our own place. And then we had my son. Around that time, I lost my job. So while looking for jobs, reading the paper, and trying to do everything so that my ex could sleep, I took control of my son and did a few other jobs. I mean, we had money that we could spend. We had money that we could do stuff with. So I mean, we weren't down and out. This isn't a down and out story. I mean, it is, but it isn't. This should tell you the roller coaster that you have after service. It could be good, it could be bad. I mean, there's plenty of memories I have with me, my son, and my ex that were happy, just filled, elated. Super Bowls, football, work, coming home, weekends with my son coming to hug me. My daughter, when I took over as a father figure for my daughter. You know, her happy to see me, her rushing around, a lot of stuff. I mean, it is just a roller coaster of emotions. Now, when I was talking earlier about abuse, I did some stuff that I'm not happy about with my ex and current fiance. I was a ticking time bomb. I was angry. I was a womanizer. I was drinking. I did a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done, and I really do not so much regret, but I hate myself for it. I I was not the person that I want my son to be raised as. I was not the person that I believed I should have been. But you know what? I said screw it. I'm making my decisions. I'm living with the consequences as I do now. Um, I really honestly didn't think about anything as I was doing it. I was just, this seems good. It seems like a good idea. It seems great, and I'm gonna do it. That's my thought process is very little, and not because that was what was trained into me, but because that's just how I thought. You can ask anybody who was in basic, who went to AIA school with me, and who was in the fleet with me. I don't think I act. There is a difference between that and someone who you would consider normal. Um, I reacted on impulse, not on thought. And then, other people who've met me. Um, and I know that, if you ask my ex what happened, she'll tell you, I was an abusive piece of shit that drank all the time. Um, and I hated myself. I hated the fact that I couldn't do 4 years. I hated the fact that I had all these emotional fucking problems and issues that I couldn't get over. Oh, God. It sucked. It sucked. Um, and I am ashamed. I am ashamed of myself because I am weak. I am still weak. Uh, you know, I mean, I'm thinking about, just I'm going to light up right on the camera during the stream. It's not going to be monetized. It never will be monetized. Um, and I, so as I babble on, you know, do this, um, it's one of those themes. Uh, you know, it's been a transformation over the years. It's been a transformative 5 years. People I've met, people I went through, and then my emotional issues that I've had. Um, and I regret so much. I don't ever regret joining the military. I don't ever regret being married to my ex. I don't ever regret my son. I don't regret meeting the love of my life, who I am now engaged to. I don't regret being a father to her daughter. I really don't. I refuse to regret any of that. The drinking, I do regret a lot because I could have been a better man, but instead I went weak. I became a weak person. And it's horrifying. It's, it's horrifying to believe that I was such a fucking piece of shit 5 years ago. That all I cared about was myself and nobody else, just gratifying myself because I was, because I didn't feel worthy of anybody or love because I guess I didn't care. I did not care if you loved me or not, and I still don't care if you love me or not, but I do love myself. And it bothers me anymore now because I don't feel the same as I felt um, before the military. With all the death that's been going around, I've just been I give the condolences to my family when one of our loved one passes away. um, I think my great uncle Dale, I was deployed and cried for him. Um, my grandpa Lee, I was home, went to his funeral, cried for him. My dad, I did not at first cry for him. It wasn't until maybe 2 years later that I started having my emotions about it. Um, I do know that my family thought I was just trying to be tough for everybody else, but I didn't feel anything. I was numb. You guys, uh, everyone who watches this, who listens to this, who listens to the show, knows what numb is. You know, it's a weird feeling to not feel anything. It is a weird feeling to sit there and act like you're sad and to act like you care what anybody says. Even now, sometimes, even today, I brush people off accidentally. I don't want to brush people off. I just do. And that's part of that emotional, roller coaster. I believe. I'm not a therapist. I do try to be a therapist to people. I'm not great as a therapist. But yeah, it gets very uncomfortable sometimes when I'm talking to people and I'm listening to them and how their day is and whatnot. It doesn't mean I don't want to hear about it. It just means that I'm just numb for for that amount of time. Keep telling me everything. I want anybody who watches this to know and understand that I may be numb, but keep telling me get through, get past that numbness. I do care on the inside. I'm just not feeling it at that time. And I try to check up on people's mental health before I check up on mine. And the reason why is because good or bad, good or bad, I'm who I am. I'd rather care about others than myself. Um, and there really is no reason for the emotional stunting that we have as veterans. The emotional stunting that we have in the military. You watch all these movies, you watch all these documentaries about everybody. You got the old sergeant major or master chief or sergeant first class or chief or gunnery sergeant. Um, and I don't know what the air one is. I don't know what the Air Force one is. And they're giving you these rousing speeches like, "You sons of bitches better, uh, better know your fucking sectors and better be the best fucking person that you can be. Don't fuck up. Know what you're doing, realize what you're doing. If you're in a bad situation, get your asses out of there. They want you to become adults, I believe, before you're ready. Um, you're put into an adult situation, a very responsible situation. And I mean, it doesn't matter. 12 months, 8 months. I don't know how much any other boot camp is. 5 months, or yeah, no, 5 weeks. Sorry, 11 weeks, 8 weeks, 5 weeks, or 10 weeks. It doesn't matter. And when you only scratch the surface of what you're trying to scratch, and you have a military that gets in your way of getting better and stunts your growth emotionally, to where you come home and you don't care about the family that you left behind, and you don't care about the person that you're dating or marrying. The only thing you care about are the people who are gone. The experiences that you have to relive in your sleep. The flashbacks that you have even when you're doing your job because a certain sound sounds horrible. You're not confronting anything. You're not. You're numbing yourself. I've been there. I've numbed. Sometimes I do numb. I don't use alcohol anymore, but I do numb. I mean, look at, I got a cigarette. That's numbing enough for me. And here I got coffee. It is 10 o'clock Colorado time, and I am drinking coffee. And I will probably go to sleep in about 3 hours anyway, off that coffee. Narcotics, mood stabilizers. I have Wellbutrin for my depression. Uh, I have a hyper, more powerful Benadryl, um, for my anxiety. Um, yeah, we can't go back in time and change everything that happens. We can't go back and give warning to the people who we love and place ourselves in that situation again and take the bullet for our brothers, our sisters in arms, or warn them, do not get into this car with this person who is fucking hammered. We can't do that, but we can grow. Our families, guys and gals, brothers and sisters, guess what? They do not have to suffer. Go and get yourself help. All right? There is no shame in it. But also, there is no shame in admitting when you are wrong. I know, it is a travesty to think that someone like me will admit that. But I, again, I don't care. Do not keep emotionally stunting yourself. And if you have to talk to a peer group. If you don't like a therapist, fine, don't use a therapist. Just go. Go and use, sorry, go and use somebody else. They have Facebook groups. They have Twitter, military Twitter, even though they are some of the most fucking emotionally stunted motherfuckers. You still have some on there that are better. Cypher, Paper Sergeant, um, ZBT. If you want a podcast, um, when I'm not doing something, go to Zero Blog 30. Listen to them. I don't agree with, the creator sometimes, Uncle Chaps or Corporal Kate. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what they're saying to me, speaks to me, whether it elicits emotions that make me angry because it's two Marines and a soldier. Captain Khan's is the third host. You know, because Marines, of course, are going to shit on the Navy, even though we're the better branch, huh? Under us, motherfuckers. But yeah, I do this show, yes, to help my anxiety and to make less movements. That hasn't happened this time. But at the same time, I want it to be a place where you guys can come on and be like, you know what, I need to hear something. Maybe there's something in any of these YouTube videos or podcasts that are shared out. Maybe there is something for me in these that I can take from and I can be a better person. Emotional growth, people. That's primarily why I did this, is so that you can unload onto me or the video or the podcast, some of that load that you're carrying on your shoulders. Yes, I get it. I may not go through the same stuff that everybody else goes through, like the Army, the Marine Corps, or even shipborne Navy guys. Shipboard guys. Hell, the Air Force. We even go with the Coast Guard. Yes, I may not have done all that in the short time I was in the Navy. But I was a big picture kind of guy when I was in the Navy. Short-sighted, but big picture, if you know what I mean. And I don't excuse my behavior during the military and after the military. I don't excuse my behavior with my ex-wife. I don't excuse my behavior even now when I do something wrong and I'm too pig-headed and numb to even say or acknowledge that I did something wrong. Personal responsibility should be the key here, and I believe that it is the best key that we, veterans, active duty service members, reserve service members, National Guard service members, dependents who do watch this, maybe to try to help out their situation with their husbands or wives. Maybe it's something that a young kid who wants to join the military will, go across this and be like, oh, I didn't think about it like this. I didn't think that there would be an emotional stunting that I would go through. Or, maybe, the stuff that you see that is irregular here in this country will just haunt the living shit out of you. Because God knows these riots killed my soul. When I watched buildings burn and people going by and burning stuff, throwing Molotov cocktails, just watching the smoke, it scared me. But I have a different experience than most people. What we call riots here is just another protest in the Middle East, is what we would call that. To all the veterans serving in the police department, if you are not trying to lead the bad apples into being good apples, I think that you should rearrange your priorities. And that's going to be my one critical thought to the veterans who are in the police department. It doesn't matter what rank you are. I do stuff with planes, and I am a form of non-sponsored leadership in my shop, and I believe the same will go with you. Even though there is a hierarchy, You know from the military that you can change that hierarchy when you want to, and it starts at the ground level. Remember, I always use Army terms and Marine terms when I do these videos, and it's because I believe that's a majority of who watches this. So I will say it very plain and clear for everybody on here before I sign off, because I think I'll sign off at 50. So in like 9 minutes and something, yeah, 9 minutes and something seconds. But everything needs to be kept at the squad level. If you can't do it that way, go up to the platoon. And if you can't keep it up at the platoon, go to the company. Take it as high as you need to. Do not let them shut you down. Yes, there is a chain of command, but if your chain of command is not listening to you on something that you believe is beneficial, then you know the drill. Take it up. If you don't believe your command is listening to you, take it up. I know everybody has an up. To the family of Private Morales and Specialist Guillen, Private Rosecran, I'm sorry for your losses. It was devastating to hear the news out of Fort Hood about what happened. And I don't mean devastating as in, it broke my heart for a few days as reports were coming in. It floored me to the floor. And anyone who's read my blogs knows that it did a number on me mentally. This is not how we treat each other. I don't give a fuck who you are. These deaths should never have happened. All right? They should never have happened. Leadership should have stepped in and done something. Now we got 3 dead soldiers at home. Not in a fucking war zone, at home. And yes, this shit does happen. I get it. I understand. I know it. But that does not mean that we should allow them to be killed. We always look out for each other. That has always been the motto. When I was in and coming up, I was told you look out for the man or woman on your left and your right. When they step to, you step to, not because you have to, but because you want to. Change and fix your shit, United States military. Change and fix your shit quickly. Don't cover up. Quickly change it the way you know how to. Fort Hood should be on lockdown. In my personal opinion, as a veteran, they should be on the lockdown. Nobody should leave that base. Every vehicle should be checked. I think a good base punishment for the whole base, whether you were involved or not, you take responsibility for your failure. Is there anything you could have done? Probably not, but still. It was a failure. And it's I don't even know how to understand this failure that happened with these soldiers and their deaths. To the Gold Star families in conflicts, I am sorry for your loss. I am 2 ways around these conflicts. You got the moto guy in me, the moto side of me, who still believes that hearts and minds should be one, and we should stay there longer. But then you have the me who just, I don't get it. Why are we still there? Uh, I get if Mosul and ISIS didn't teach us anything, um, then it's sad. It is sad that that's where it came to. That um, something like that happened, and who cares? Who cares? Um, Horrific stuff does happen in the military, and that does reflect and refract on us as service members and veterans. It's not a good excuse. No excuse is ever a good excuse for stuff you do outside the service and your emotional crippling. Um, but trusting in the people who want the best for you should never come at the price that it has been gone on. Well, I am at 2% battery. I thank you guys for joining my live chat. And if you watch this as the video and it makes no sense to you, download this. Just simply download it and make a comment. This makes no sense. You have no tracking, because I don't ever do this with tracking, guys and gals. You know that. This is just off the top of my head. And I want to thank you for watching this video. And God bless. I love you guys. Thank you, Veteran Talk family. I will, in the future, I will start putting certain episodes behind the paywall. And the reason for that is because we're going to need new stuff in the future. And I want to make sure that we have some kind of financing. So you can either do the sponsor, FNX supplements as fnx.com. And again, in the description, I will put the discount code for everybody so that they know. And I love you, fam. And one more thing, again, these are my personal views. This does not come from the company. It is part of the reason why I'm able to still do this, do my rants, be angry, do 2 shows at once. And, it's cancel culture is getting ridiculous. And that is where I'm going to leave it. I love you guys. Thank you for everything you have done for this show. You guys are awesome. I love you.